Right now on ABC 10 News at 11. When the clock strikes midnight, indoor dining will be over and the purple tier begins. How San Diegans are enjoying the final minutes before new restrictions.
California issuing a travel advisory right before the holidays.
Someone who is younger, has no symptoms, has no idea they have COVID-19, can quickly spread it to the entire family.
We talk with one local doctor about how you can protect yourself and your family during the holidays.
Plus the apology from Governor Gavin Newsom after attending a party that went against his own guidelines.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
The clock is ticking toward the moment business owners across the county have been dreading, a return to the purple tier. In less than an hour, strict new COVID-19 restrictions will take effect, forcing many establishments to close their indoor dining areas. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Restaurants will be one of the hardest hit industries. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura is in Little Italy tonight, where many are bracing for the new setback.
It is a Friday night with a strange mood. People are out tonight, they're enjoying themselves, but many of them telling us they're savoring this night before the new restrictions kick in. It wasn't just any Friday night in Little Italy, at least not for Veronica Venegas. She wanted to dine out before restaurants have to close their indoor dining areas.
That was the reason why I wanted to go out, because I didn't know how tomorrow was going to be with the closures.
With the county now subject to stricter rules because of a rise in COVID-19 cases, many cherish the chance to eat inside their favorite restaurant.
I was at Bolt Brewery. I wanted to go inside because we have a favorite table that we have inside. I'll miss eating indoors. You can never imagine how we take this for granted.
Meanwhile, restaurant owners have been preparing their outdoor dining areas. Patio heaters line many of them. Canopies cover some, as many are doing what they can to make customers comfortable. At Cloak and Pedal, management says they are ready.
We're prepared. You know, we've done this song and dance back and forth, and so we're prepared for anything that comes our way. Is it frustrating? Absolutely.
Frustrating because closing their indoor area could lead to tough decisions for their business.
Having to have conversations with staff that, now, some people may get laid off. Going into a holiday season is it's scary, and there's a lot of uncertainty, and they don't know for how long.
I feel really bad. I mean, I know that the industry is hurting really bad.
In Little Italy, Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
San Diego County will be in the purple tier for at least 3 weeks. Could be longer depending on the time it takes the county to get its COVID-19 cases down.
So here is what the purple tier looks like. Bars, breweries, distilleries, and amusement parks, they must close. In addition to those restaurants, places of worship, movie theaters, playgrounds, museums, and gyms can only operate outside. Schools that are currently distance learning must stay that way. Retail and shopping centers can only operate at 25% capacity with no food courts. Offices will be pushed towards working remotely, and professional sports can't have crowds.
And here are the latest numbers. The county reported 611 new cases today, bringing our total to just under 63,000. There were also 3 new deaths, bringing that total to 921.
Tonight, Governor Newsom is apologizing for attending a birthday party that violated the state's COVID-19 guidelines. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, the governor and his wife attended a party last week for an advisor at the French Laundry restaurant in Napa County with a dozen guests in attendance. State guidelines prohibit gatherings of more than 3 households. In a statement today, Newsom said, quote, "While our family followed the restaurant's health protocols and took safety precautions, we should have modeled better behavior and not joined the dinner." California's Health and Human Services Secretary would not comment further on the incident today, but he did say following the rules is essential for everyone.
We have the guidance and the tips for a reason. We believe they are the strategies to keep ourselves and our communities safe, and we hope and expect people to take them seriously.
In a tweet, the California Republican Party said the governor seems to be, quote, talking out of both sides of his mouth. And Mayor Kevin Faulconer tweeted this about the governor tonight, saying his kids can learn in person, but yours can't. He can celebrate birthday parties, but you can't. He can dine on $350 meals at one of California's finest restaurants during the worst recession in generations, but you definitely can't. Can you believe this? I can't.
If you're traveling out of state for the holidays, you're being asked to quarantine for 14 days when you get back. Today, California joined Oregon and Washington in issuing a travel advisory. And if you're going to either of those states, you're asked to quarantine when you get there. All three states are urging people to stay close to home to limit the spread of COVID-19.
It's a really trying time. Things could go really poorly unless we're careful.
The state updated its guidelines for gathering with friends and family during the holidays. For San Diego County, some of those required because we've fallen into the purple tier. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo spoke to an infectious disease doctor who explains why these guidelines make sense.
The new guidelines were issued today, and while doctors say they are strict, they say this is what's needed to slow the spread of COVID-19. Roughly 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, Californians now have state guidelines that officials say will help curb the spread of COVID-19 this holiday season.
I think this is really the time to start being extra careful.
Dr. Michelle Ritter is a professor of medicine and infectious diseases at UCSD Medical Center and the director of the COVID-19 Infectious Disease Clinic. She says she's witnessed the spike in cases and hospitalizations.
The truth is, patients are sicker this time around.
The guidelines for holiday gatherings include things like physical distancing and mask use when not eating or drinking, but do offer some specifics. For purple tier counties like San Diego, gatherings must be held outdoors. Health officials recommend no more than 3 households and limiting gatherings to 2 hours or less.
You can still enjoy someone's company if you have a little space between you, if you're outdoors, and if you have a mask on.
Other recommendations include frequent hand washing and having one person serve food and beverages with a mask on. Older and at-risk individuals are advised not to attend.
All of our actions impact everyone around us. And if we keep spreading this, it can have disastrous consequences.
Dr. Ritter recognizes there is pandemic fatigue, saying it's normal, and wants people to try and remember that this won't last forever.
Taking these extra measures might make the difference between having a happy Thanksgiving where everybody goes home and spends the next 2 weeks recovering from turkey, or ending up with COVID-19.
Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Also tonight, the final states have been called in the presidential race a week and a half after Election Day. ABC News projects Joe Biden to win Georgia and Arizona. President Trump takes North Carolina. The Electoral College vote now stands at 306 for President-elect Biden and 232 for President Trump. But as ABC's Rena Roy reports, the president didn't address the election today, instead focusing only on the pandemic.
After his longest stretch of silence since he took office, President Trump addressing the nation for the first time in more than a week, touting progress on a COVID vaccine.
No medical breakthrough of this scope and magnitude has ever been achieved this rapidly, this quickly.
He has still not conceded, but he did say this.
This administration will not be going to a lockdown. Hopefully the whatever happens in the future, who knows which administration it will be, I guess time will tell.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi slamming Republicans for joining the president in refusing to acknowledge Joe Biden as president-elect, even as the coronavirus is raging.
The longer the Republicans keep up the charade, the further out of control the COVID crisis will spiral, and more in danger Americans will be.
The president's trade advisor on Fox Business this morning still pushing the long shot idea that Trump will win.
We're moving forward here at the White House under the assumption that there will be a second Trump term.
Biden's newly appointed chief of staff on MSNBC says there could be serious consequences with the General Services Administration still not accepting Biden as president-elect, therefore stalling the transition process.
We're in a COVID crisis. The sooner we can get our transition experts into meetings with the folks who are planning that vaccination campaign, the more seamless the transition.
At least 10 Republican senators are calling on the Trump administration to start providing classified briefings to President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Rena Roy, ABC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
President Trump is promising Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine will be available to healthcare workers in December, the elderly, and then all Americans by early spring. He says he expects the Food and Drug Administration to grant emergency use authorization for it very soon. The president singled out New York, where Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo has said he wants New Yorkers to wait to take the vaccine until state health officials assess it.
As soon as April, the vaccine will be available to the entire general population, with the exception of places like New York State, where, for political reasons, the governor decided to say, and I don't think it's good politically, I think it's very bad from a health standpoint, but he wants to take his time on the vaccine.
California, Oregon, Washington, and Nevada are also putting any coronavirus vaccines through an independent review before distributing to the public. Early results suggest that the Pfizer vaccine could be 90% effective.
Rescue crews were in Linda Vista after a car that left at least one person trapped in their car. There was a crash there. This was at about 7:30 tonight on the northbound 163 at Genesee Avenue. At least 2 cars were involved in this. No word on the cause or if there were any other injuries.
A woman and her child were taken to the hospital after she crashed into parked cars in Coronado. This was just before 8 p.m. in the area of 7th and F Street. The child was taken to Rady Children's Hospital. No word on the injuries. The mother was visually upset and yelling at first responders before being taken to the hospital. No word on the cause of the crash or any charges.